Okay, now I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I am so pissed at Hallmark right now. Last week, Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, signed, sealed, and delivered to the moon and back. Baby, the Postables are back. Now, for those of you who don't know who the Postables are, they work for the federal post office. So they're federal agents, and they head the dead letter office. Now, Hallmark started many years ago, I think as early as like 2013. The Postables, it used to be that they had episodes. I think they had a full season. And then after that, Hallmark decided that they were going to do a movie every couple of years. Or we've been lucky. We got one in 2024, and now we have signed, sealed, and delivered to the moon and back. Now, if you're wondering why my poster says Girls Gone Hallmark, it's because I could not find a poster on Hallmark's official Facebook page or their official Instagram page acknowledging that this movie took place. And here's the wildest thing about this movie. This movie is the second best movie they've had this year. I'm giving Signed, Sealed, Delivered to the Moon and Back a 9 out of 10. Most of the Hallmark movies for 2025 have literally not scored this high. So it's so weird that Hallmark didn't do a preview for this. And I checked. This was not one of those movies that was released on Hallmark Plus and then we're now getting it. This actually premiered last Saturday, and they basically screwed the Postables. Now, the Postables, which is what they're called, they actually have a huge Hallmark following. So for Hallmark to not do a preview, not to advertise, I almost missed it because I thought the terrible Hats Off movie, I thought that's what was premiering last Saturday. And FYI, I did not DVR the Hats Off movie. The commercials were just ridiculous. And usually I'll at least give the Hallmark movies 15 minutes of my time this year before I decide it's not worth my time. FYI, I'm in my bed doing this review. I figured it was better than just shitting on the Postables like Hallmark has done. It's better that I review it as soon as possible since I watched the movie yesterday, that I get the review out, and right now I just want to be in the comforts of my bed while I did this, okay? Oliver, Shane, Rita, and Norman are back, and they are better than ever. To this entire cast, you guys have never done a movie that I have thought was terrible, was bad. You guys make me think about family, about love, about friendship, about the family you choose and the biological family you have. These are all themes that were reiterated to the moon and back. And if Hallmark had spent some time actually bigging up the Postables and this movie, maybe, I'd be reviewing movies more often, okay? I thought this movie was great, 9 out of 10. I love where they are in their friendships, their relationships, their family ship. Okay, I know you're ready for me to get in the premise. Ramon actually bought I think it's a new restaurant that it used to be a nightclub where up and coming artists would perform. He found a letter stuck somewhere in the back, I guess in the kitchen of the restaurant. And it was supposed to be mailed because it had a Maya Angelou stamp on it, but it was obviously never mailed. So he gives it to the Postables while they're at his restaurant having brunch. And they told him he can consider the letter delivered to the dead letter office, and they're going to handle it. They're federal agents. They're going to follow up and find the writer of this letter. Now, the couples are sitting next to each other, and none of the women will touch the mimosas that Ramon gave to them. And you know why? Because both Rita and Shane are expecting their first babies. But not only that, if you watched some of the other movies, Rita and Norman have also decided to adopt. So the same time that their first baby is due by their surrogate, by the adopted mom, Rita also finds out she's expecting. So Norman and Rita are going to have 2 babies, and then Shane and Oliver are going to have their first child. Everyone's excited to be parents and aunties and uncles, but they still have a mission. They've got to find the writer of this letter and figure out what her story is. When they actually read the letter, they realize that there's lyrics from this letter that is from a famous song that's out now from an artist called Nate. And so Rita says, let's go find Nate. Turns out he was performing in Las Vegas. Like he blew up. And so they went to go see him. At first, he won't even acknowledge that someone else has written some of his songs and put some of the song lyrics in the letter. But then when Shane and Oliver come back to visit him later on, he says he's trying to protect the writer of his songs and also the writer of the letter because he's not sure what's going on. He loves this woman, but she's clearly in trouble. Turns out he's referring to Tracy. Tracy herself is a singer, but she's also a writer. She has never wanted to be in the public eye, but she's never told Nate why. So Nate sings her lyrics, and he goes from this rinky-dink nightclub to now being very famous based off of Tracy's songs. So he immediately tells the Postables that he doesn't know how to find her, but he sends money to a certain P.O. box, and every couple of months the P.O. box changes. It's from a different state. And he also says that when Tracy can come forward again, he's got money waiting for her because it's not about the fame for him. He loves this woman and fame means nothing without her. Baby, are you following me? The theme for this is so amazing. I don't know why the fuck Hallmark didn't advertise it. I just don't know. But shitty ass movies we get previews and advertisements for. Yeah, I'm not happy with you, Hallmark. I'm not. Anyway, the Postables go on another road trip, and I think they go to, I don't know if it's Colorado or Wyoming. I think they go to Wyoming. And they track down Tracy, and she explains that when her and her sister were little, her mom picked up her dad one day from work, and he was a bank manager. He told the mom to drive. The mom had no idea what was happening. It turns out their father robbed the bank that he manages. He had a gambling addiction, and so he put them all on the run where they had to live under aliases. One day the money was gone, and so was their father, and he left them to fend for themselves. So the mother is a wanted criminal for this bank robbery, even though she had no idea this is what her husband was going to do. And baby, a lot of women end up in prison because of the men that they love. And we'll talk about that when I do a part 2 to this. Yes, baby, because there's so many gems to pack away from this. Anyway, once Tracy, whose real name I think is Lily, tells the Postables this story, she also says that night at the nightclub, the cops were there and she was really afraid that they would be on to her and then that would lead them to her mother. So she hasn't seen her mother in 5 years, and she used to write her mother with a special type of code, but they have not been able to communicate because she loves her mother enough to lay low and not get her mother in any more trouble. Anyway, Shane and Oliver track down the mother and Tracy's sister. The mother makes a request. She literally says, hey, my other daughter is going to be 18 in 6 weeks. I don't want her in foster care. Oliver, can you give me 6 weeks before you call the feds? Oliver actually does it because he's about to be a father and he's struggling with some issues with his own father. And he understands that no good parent wants to put their child in active danger or someplace that may not be safe for them and displace them. So Oliver does the right thing. He gives the mom 6 weeks to get her stuff in order and to prepare her other daughter before he turns her in. Baby, if you are on the edge of your seat about what happened in this movie, then I need you to go tune to part 2. Hallmark, you really messed up. This is one of the most amazing movies I've seen this year. And only 1 out of 2 that I think deserves the scoring that I am giving it, which is a 9 out of 10. Signed, sealed, delivered, to the moon and back. It wasn't advertised, but to this cast, we love you, we follow you, and we love the messages that you continue to send us. All right, stay tuned for part 2, y'all. Well, I'm looking good today. Dewy.